Hello, welcome to the FIT Library and welcome to FIT. My name is Helen Lane and I'm one of the librarians here at FIT, and I'm going to be taking you through the presentation for this class as an introduction to the library. So, why do we value information? Or should I say, why do we value quality information? And what is it worth to you? Well, quality information provides us with expertise beyond our own, accuracy for making decisions that are really important, that might cost a lot of money, evidence that we're making the right decision, or that we have made the right decision, analysis of problems or new situations, insights, and also inspiration, because design fields and creative fields need information that can inspire us. The information that you will be dealing with runs from the highly visual, such as an analysis of runway trends, colors, silhouettes, pattern, to things that are more numeric, like how many items of a certain type are selling in stores and to whom. Political and economic. Where are things being produced? Where are they being sourced from? What are the tariffs? What is the impact of a certain political situation in a particular country? And all of this information needs to be brought together and synthesized in a way that makes sense for the particular job that you find yourself in when you enter the work field. You need to be able to understand all of it, and you need to be able to understand how to assess the quality of all of it. You know a lot about the fashion industry already, and you probably have your favorite fashion news source already. We want to know what it is, and we want you to share your knowledge with your classmates. Scan the QR code or use the link below to add your favorite news source to our Padlet. You can pause the video to do this, and be sure to like or comment on each other's posts. This is also a way to get to know other people in your degree program. So, let's talk a little bit about authority and perspective, and looking beyond popular magazines, blogs, and influencers. A lot of the answers we get back from students year after year on the Padlet are answers that are really good. Vogue, Highsnobbity, other blogs, major influencers on TikTok, on Instagram. And these are all good sources, but they're not the types of sources that you need to know about. Well, you do need to know about them. Let me put it this way. They're not the only types of sources that you need to know about when you work in industry. There are other types of sources that are a little bit harder to get access to, and that's why libraries exist, because we subscribe to all of these sources for you. And let's talk about what they are. They offer authority and perspective from very particular points of view. Trade, scholarly, fashion forecasts, and market research publications. Trade publications would be things like Business of Fashion, WWD. These are written for and by people working in a particular profession, and every profession has them. Even librarians have trade publications. Scholarly journals. This also, you can find a scholarly journal for almost any field. Here we have an example of the Journal of Global Fashion Marketing. Scholarly journals contain in-depth articles with research that's been done. It's very specific information for often for a scholarly audience, and they may be peer-reviewed, which means that other experts are the ones who decide if the article is good enough to be published. So it's very different. It's a little bit it's more like original research rather than news. Now the last two, fashion forecasts and market research. Both of these deal with understanding the consumer, understanding the market, but they approach it pretty differently. Fashion forecasts are looking at mood, attitudes, tastes, color, They're looking at what's happening on the runway and what's happening in the arts, in sciences, in society, with a focus on future predictions. Market research, they also want to predict things, but they focus on income, gender, lifestyle, and life stage. All of these are things that we subscribe to or have in our collection, and we're going to talk next about how to find these things. So where do you look for information? We covered the types of publications, but where can you find them? So here at FIT, there are basically 3 different places to look for the types of information that we specialize in. OneSearch, databases, and research guides. OneSearch is where you would look for books, ebooks, video, and also articles from trade publications and regular magazines. So it's a great place to do a big, broad search, such as researching fashion from the 1970s. Databases. This is when you know you need specific articles from specific newspapers or journals. Like you know you want to go in and just search Women's Wear Daily. Or you know you need to access a market research database. Now the research guides. This is curated advice, curated by librarians like me. If you're not sure what you're going to need, or if you need some self-help using our services, you can browse by topic and you can get advice that we have written on various topics. So learning how to create a company profile is an example of something we have as a research guide. Learning how to cite something in APA style, we have a research guide on that. So that's where you can look for information. I'm going to now demonstrate the first of these tools, which is OneSearch. Okay, so let's take a look at OneSearch. We're on the library's webpage. That's fitnyc.edu/library. And if you scroll down to underneath the library's hours, you'll find a box clearly labeled OneSearch. There is a search box here, and it tells you that you can use it to search for books, ebooks, articles, which are almost always digital media, and more. So it searches a lot. It searches what we have in the library and also what we subscribe to online, most of what we subscribe to online. And it's really useful to do a quick search here. But I'm going to demonstrate the full version of OneSearch by clicking on this link here that says click for full version of OneSearch. Now, whenever I arrive at OneSearch, the first thing I do is sign in. And I'm going to sign in here on the upper right using my FIT username and password. If you know exactly what you're looking for, like the title of a book or the title and the author of a book, such as this new book that came out, you can type it in, hit search, and it should come to the top of the list. I had saved this already. I'm going to remove that so I can show you how that works. So there are 2 books called Black in Fashion, but this is the one that I'm interested in. It's the newer of the 2. And if I want to know more about it, double check that it's really the one that I want, I can open up the record, I can read information about it, and I get an overview of it. I see where it's located here on the 5th floor. Okay? I can get a citation for it. For you guys in the FBM classes, you want the APA citation. APA, copy it. So easy. You can use that on your papers and in your PowerPoints. That is simple. Now, OneSearch is a little bit like shopping on Amazon. Seriously, it's not like using Google. If you know what you want, you can find it very quickly and you can save it to your shopping cart. Right? There it is. You can save it as a favorite and come back and look at it later. It's not really a shopping cart, but you can save things like you would to a shopping cart or to a favorites list. And if you want to see that it's there, here it is. You might notice there are saved searches and saved search history as well. The other thing that you can do with OneSearch is search for a topic in general. This is where the comparison to Amazon or a shopping website is really important, and how it's very different from how web search engines and chatbots work. Do not use natural language, use keywords. So if I'm looking for information about apparel sourcing, for instance, I can type that in and hit enter. I'm searching everything that we have because I'm doing a multi-search. And I can see I'm getting an article from 2022, 2021, a book from 1986. No. This is available online. This is in the library. Here's an article online in the library. Oh, the books are looking old. Okay, don't worry. Just like shopping online, you have a way to refine your search. And it's over here on the side, on the left-hand side. You can, for instance, put in a date range. So we can say, just show me things from the past 5 years. We now have mostly articles at the top. And we are finding articles, scholarly journal articles. Remember, I said peer review. Yeah. But we're also finding conference presentations. This says other, but I happen to know it's a book. It's a textbook. I think that's why it says other. And here's a book. It's an online book. Just online, not even in print at all. So a lot of different things. And you can even do that. You can say, just show me the books, or just show me the articles. Easy peasy, very simple. Now, really quickly, I want to show you some things about online versus in print. So I'm going to use this book that's available physically as well as online as an example for both. Here, the book. It's located here. The call number is what you use to find it on the shelf, and we can give you help with that. Here, View Online is going to list a database, and this will be true for ebooks as well as for articles that are available online. So it may just list one database, or it may list many if the article or book is carried by many databases. You click on the link, and you will usually be asked to log in with your FIT username and password, but I have been practicing a lot today for this video, so it's not asking me because I have done it very recently. But you get into the database, and here is the book, chapter by chapter. This is OneSearch, and it's very, very useful. It comes with all of these neat features, and you can save things to your favorites. Okay, time for an exercise. Pause this video and, using OneSearch, find an online copy of your course textbook, Dynamics of Fashion by Elaine Stone and Cheryl A. Farnan. Once you have done that, scan the QR code or use the link below it to show your results and prove to us that you were able to find it. Share the link to the book or share a screenshot or both. Next, I'm going to demonstrate how to get to our databases. As a reminder, we've already encountered some databases when we looked at ebooks and articles from OneSearch, but sometimes, in fact often, you might want to use a database directly. The cases when you might want to use a database directly is when you want to find articles from a particular magazine, like Business of Fashion, or when you want to use a tool that does a particular thing, like use a market research database, which isn't covered in OneSearch at all. So how do you find our databases? Well, let me count the ways. 1, databases. 2, down at the bottom of the page. 3, search, especially useful if you know exactly which one you're looking for, like MRI or WGSN. Let's take a look. Menu, Databases is the same as the link at the bottom of the page. It takes you to an A to Z list of all of our databases, as well as a list by subject. You guys will be using a lot of databases categorized as fashion industry and business and economics databases. Let's take a look at them really quickly. Here we are. Lots of databases. Some of them are fashion related. Some of them are particular magazine subscriptions like Business of Fashion and require you to register in order to get access. Some of them are collections of trade magazine publications. Some of them are specialty databases that provide insights into market research, such as, let me go ahead to Mintel. It's a very popular one with some of our students. So this is when you click on the green menu. It's also what you get to if you go to the bottom of the page and you click on databases, it takes you to the same place. However, yes, there's a link in the OneSearch box if you click on databases where you can type in a known database like WGSN. I'm just using a suggestion, and it will take you to what we have from WGSN. Every time you see this little exclamation point, it means there are special instructions, and you should click on the plus sign to find out what they are. But that's databases in a nutshell. 3 ways to access them, 2 methods to either browse or search. Databases. Okay, you guessed it. Maybe you did. Now that you've seen a demonstration of our databases, pause the video, perform this exercise. Using our databases page, access the latest news in WWD, also known as Women's Wear Daily. And this is maybe a tricky one because there's many different versions of WWD. Remember, you need to have the latest news from WWD. So, we talked about 3 ways to find information sources that belong to the library: OneSearch, databases, and research guides. So now I'm going to demonstrate how to find our research guides. Here we are back at the library's website. And if you want to find our research guides, the best way to do that, I think, is to scroll down to where you see the OneSearch box. And this time, you're going to click on Research Guides. And here you can type in a topic that interests you, or sometimes it's the name of a class. So for instance, maybe you are studying fashion history. Type in fashion history, and you can see what comes back. Fashion and clothing history, fashion designers. We have lots of different guides that cover fashion history. Let's take a look. Here is an entire fashion history guide. Look, it's even organized by century and by decade. And we give you advice of books to look at, databases to use, advice on what to look for and how to conduct your search, how to interpret your results, recommended databases, and much, much more. You can even get in touch with individual librarians who have created the guides. So these are research guides, and they're really useful. Please use them. In a recent study that we conducted with students, they actually said, "Why don't you have guides to what books you have in the library?" And we our jaws just dropped open, and we thought, oh my goodness, they don't know. We have these. They're called research guides. We have them. Use them. So this is how you find them on the library's website, by using the search, clicking on research guides, and searching for what interests you. So once again, time to pause the video, and from the library's website, find a research guide with advice on researching companies. Now, once you've done that, we're just going to change the topic completely. We're done covering the part of the class that covers how to find information, and we want to talk a little bit about how to use information. And I'm going to start with a question. And the question has to do with sharing or stealing. And I'm trying to make a connection here between how we use social media and how we use the research that we encounter when we're writing research papers or doing presentations. And I just want you to scan the QR code on the screen or use the link and weigh in with your opinion on the following topic. When you use somebody else's material, a video, an image, or something like that on TikTok or Instagram, is it okay to use it without mentioning who created the material. So I bring this up because what we want to talk about now is why it's important to cite your sources. And this is especially important in this day and age, in the age of generative AI, because a recent study has shown that the vast majority of people, when they get an AI summary, don't bother to check the sources that the AI has provided. They just believe the summary they've been given. Wow. Well, it's important to check your sources, but it's also important to check that the right person is being given credit, because people have put a lot of work into what they've done, and they need to be given credit. It's part of being polite when you're on social media, and it's also useful because when you know where the information comes from, you can learn more about it. In the same way that if you knew that an image was created by another person, you could find more of their images or address or something else that has gone viral on social media. So it's part of joining a conversation. You can think of your work as part of a larger conversation. And to record that conversation meaningfully and respectfully, you need to cite your sources. And you do that in APA style, as we've spoken about before. And we do have help. We have a research guide that will help you cite in APA style. And last but not least, we need to talk about where to get help if you need it. And we have lots of ways to get help. You can come in person. You can also use our Ask the Library service to chat with us. And you can also use the First Year Experience Research Guide, which is this right here, which is probably already embedded in your course shell, but also lives on the library's website. So now that I'm done, one more QR code. Please let me know how I've done.